Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This case is a little different because it is still ongoing, but this case is so wild that I had to cover it. I want to give my sincerest condolences to the victim family and friends, and I also want to state that all the information from this case was found on the internet and or social media. Let's get to the video. Alright y'all, so I gotta give y'all a little history so you can see how influential this family is. The Murdaugh family have been solicitors in South Carolina since the 1920s, and they serve 5 county areas, which are Allendale, Colleton, Hampton, Beaufort, and Jasper. These are all in the 14th district, commonly known as Murdaugh Country, and they held this title as solicitor until 2005. For those of you who don't know what solicitors are like me, they are basically the district attorneys of South Carolina, and they're held in a very prestigious ranking in the law community. His great grandfather founded a law firm known today as PMPED, which stands for Peters, Murdaugh, Parker, Ellsworth, and Dietrich. Richard A. Murdaugh, also known as Alec, he met his wife Margaret, also known as Maggie, in college, and they go on to have 2 sons, Alex Jr., known as Buster, and Paul Terry. He works as a volunteer solicitor from 2008 to 2019, following in his family's legacy. He also works as a lawyer in his family's law firm, helping file suits on behalf of clients who've been injured or died in accidents with big financial payouts. So this case begins on June 7th of 2021 when Alex makes a call to the police and states that Maggie and Paul are severely injured on the family's property. The police come out to
Are they
investigate and they are
breathing?
both
No,
pronounced
ma'am.
deceased
My
on
wife
June 8th of
and my
2021.
son.
And what is your name?
My name is Alec Murdaugh. Please hurry. Neither one of them's moving.
Their deaths have been ruled homicides, and it's been determined that they both died from multiple gunshot wounds by 2 separate firearms, one being a shotgun. And this opens up Pandora's box. So during the investigation, the police, who they call SLED, which stands for South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, finds information leading to an old case from back in 2015 where the victim's name was Stephen Smith. So I told y'all this family is a powerful family. Stephen was a 19-year-old guy whose body was found in the middle of the road, and his death was ruled a hit and run by a pathologist, even though 2 South Carolina Highway Patrol officers and a coroner stated that there was no evidence to support a hit and run. Now, this is important because the Murdaugh's name was brought up 40 times in Stephen's investigation, and they're just now looking into his case as more than a hit and run 6 years later because of Maggie and Paul's death. They're alleging that the Murdaughs covered up Stephen's death, and it is currently an ongoing investigation. Here's what his mother had to say.
Oh my gosh, we've been waiting on this forever.
So there is a lot more in the Stephen Smith case to talk about, but because Alex Murdaugh's case has so many twists and turns that I want to get through, I'm going to just give you an overview of the crimes that the Murdaugh family is associated with. So in 2018, Gloria Satterfield died at the Murdaugh's home, the same home that Maggie and Paul were murdered at. Her death was ruled natural, even though the Murdaugh family claimed she tripped and fell over the family's dog. Another interesting fact is her death was never reported to the coroner, and she didn't have an autopsy. I also find it strange that during a 911 call, Maggie seemed more annoyed than concerned. After all, Gloria had been working for the Murdaugh family for over 20 years. And this is just my opinion. You would think that after 20 years that the Murdaughs would have some emotional connection to Gloria. I mean, she watched their kids grow up. Should I give my mailman Christmas gifts and he give my dog snacks, and it's been nowhere near 20 years. I'm going to link the video below, but tell me what you think in the comments. Am I wrong? Like, am I misreading it? It just seems weird. Anyways, moving on. Alex told Gloria's family to sue him so that her children could be financially taken care of, and it's been reported that Alex's insurance company paid over $505,000 out, but Gloria's family never got the money. In fact, they didn't even know Gloria got a settlement until they read about it in the newspaper 3 years later after Maggie and Paul were killed. So this is the second victim and the second case that's reopened because of this double homicide. Paul himself was in legal trouble at the time of his murder after he crashed a boat with 6 teenagers inside, including himself, in 2019. It was reported that they were underage drinking after Paul used his older brother Buster's ID to buy alcohol. The crash left 19-year-old Mallory Beach dead. The other victims stated that they begged Paul to slow down the boat or let someone else drive. Take a listen to some of the recordings from the night of the crash.
5 of us are on the bank, but we're missing one person.
It's going way too fast.
I don't even know. I finally got to the point I grabbed my girlfriend and put her in my lap in the bottom of the boat and was holding on with my eyes closed. The next thing I know, I'm in the water.
It was alleged that Alex and his father, who's now deceased, went to the hospital to tell the remaining victims not to speak with investigators. It's also alleged that the Murdaugh family was plotting a cover-up. Mallory's body was found a week later 5 miles from the crime site. Mallory's mother filed a lawsuit against the store who sold them the alcohol, Alex because it was his boat, and Buster for his ID. Paul never spent the night in jail for this incident. He actually took his mugshot picture in the courthouse. That's why he has on a regular shirt.
Alex Murdaugh.
Oh, yeah, I know his name.
That's his son.
That's so driving the boat.
Good luck.
So I keep telling y'all that this family got a lot of power, but they are also just as feared down there. A lot of people don't talk about the Murdaughs at all just because they don't want any type of retaliation. Paul was eventually charged with 3 felony counts of voting under the influence, and they did go into mediations, but the mediations failed on June 4th of 2021, just 3 days before he was actually murdered, which meant that the case was going to go to trial. So this next event marks the beginning of the end for Alex. On September 4th of 2021, he claimed he was stopped on the side of the road to fix a flat tire when a car drove past and what he thought was a good Samaritan got out to help him. Instead of helping him, though, he was shot in the head. The police report states that he had no visible injuries, but he was in fact airflown to the hospital. On September 6th, he was released from the hospital, and he put out a statement saying that he's resigning from the law firm and that he's going to rehab. PMPED released a statement saying Paul was stealing from them. On that same day, his law license was suspended and SLED opened up an investigation along with the FBI and the U.S. State's Attorney's Office. On September 14th, Curtis Smith was charged with the shooting of Alex. And on September 15th, Alex admitted to the shooting being a scheme to get a $10 million life insurance payout for his son, Buster.
It's a 20-year addiction. This is something he's struggling with every day. And if anyone wants to see the face of what opioid addiction does, you're looking at it.
Alex was charged with insurance fraud, conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, and filing a false police report. And he also was given permission to go to a rehab. On October 14th, Alex was rearrested for stealing over $4 million in insurance payouts from Gloria Satterfield's estate. By December of 2021, he was denied bail and all of his assets were frozen. In January of this year, it was determined that he has stole more than $8.5 million in wrongful death and wreck settlement money. In total, as of today, he is facing 84 charges. So on July 12th of 2022, Alex was disbarred from the South Carolina Supreme Court. And on July 14th of 2022, just 5 days ago, he was charged with killing his wife Maggie and his son Paul. So we know he's going to jail. He already an older guy, has many charges as he has. There's no way he's getting out. What I'm interested to know is, where is this $8.5 million? There's no way he spent $8.5 million. I'm also interested to know what was the reason behind him killing Maggie and Paul. What did he get out of it? Because he's not getting an insurance payout. Let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm out.